everyone, and welcome back to the Sewcial Hour Podcast, a podcast for sewists by sewists. I'm your host, Bethany.
And I'm Audra, and today we have incredible guests with us. We have the owners of Sewtopia, one of the great local and online quilt shops, Amy and Megan. They also have killer retreats, which I'm sure we will talk about as well.
So jealous.
So jealous. So we're going to jump right in and get to know Amy and Megan a little bit more. And why don't you guys just say hi and tell us about yourselves a little bit.
Hello, Amy Newbold, owner of Sewtopia, married in Utah, born and raised, 2 kids, 26 and 15, neurotic dog. You could kind of see him on our Instagram sometimes. Been quilting for 15 years-ish, 15 plus years, self-taught, did take a class or two.
And she's a Capricorn.
I am a Capricorn. And it's Gemini season officially today, I think. Or was it officially
yesterday? Yeah.
And I'm really hating it. So, there.
Megan Callahan. I am also married. 2 kids. I have twin daughters who are 16. And live in California. Been quilting for, a very long time. Kind of self-taught. I think we all took home ec back in the day. So that was kind of like where I learned to kind of sew. Got back into it when I started staying home with the girls. Like, let's pick up quilting again and do that. And I've been doing that ever since. And also bag making, I think, is a big part of what I do as well. Obviously a Gemini. It's Gemini season. And why that's funny is because her son is a Gemini. I'm a Gemini. Her husband. But we all are varied degrees of Gemini. I think I'm the best. But
they literally come at me with different mood swings this month. And I literally want to throw myself out on.
Okay, the other night,
take me.
To be honest, I did that on purpose.
Let me throw myself over the ledge. As the kids are saying right now,
You're crashing out.
This whole month, I will be crashing out.
Yeah. Apparently, that's what kids are saying now for like freaking out, losing it.
Dave and I fully love embarrassing Charlie to like no end. And we'll be like, so did you cook today? And she'll be like, oh God. Stop.
Gaggy noise.
I'll say no cap sometimes, but and I haven't even adopted any of the sayings because I'm like, just sounds wrong.
I said something to my son the other day. I was like, oh, that slaps. And he looked at me and he was like, no, Mom. No. Like,
I can't even use fire to tell you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't.
But I think we need to go into our icebreaker, which could keep us on lane or completely go off.
We're very good at derailing.
Yes.
That's okay.
Since we're the sandwich, we're the bread, we're going to derail the crap out of you guys.
It's fine. It's fine. We're here for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Describe your sewing style in 3 words. Megan, go.
Can I describe our sewing style in 3 words?
Yes. Can we describe each other's?
Ooh, do it.
Oh, okay. Describe the sewing style. Okay. Distracted, precise, and eclectic. I
think once I get in the zone, I'm in the zone now. It's just getting there is a little bit. Let's see here. Amy. I almost need 4 words, but I would say occasional, enjoyable. So it's like she's having fun when she's doing it. And the other one, it's kind of cheating. It's 2 words. Directions optional.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, I think like Amy's like, I never sew. But she does sew.
I never sew. Like I rarely.
She does.
Well, and here's the funny thing:
you finished more quilts than I have in the last couple of years.
That's true, but here's the thing, though: it's once you turn this hobby into your business, it changes it a lot. Okay, so it changes it a lot because if I sew with something that is out of print, then users are like, where did you get that? Do you have it in your store? I actually know that it's been gone for like 15 years. I'm so sorry I pulled it out of the crypt. The other thing is we've started a thing on Instagram called Sewtopia Whip It Wednesdays, and it was really credited to Lee Freshly Pieced way back in the day. She did Whip It Wednesday. She is retired, I would say, quilter. If she saw this, she'd be like, yeah, I'm retired. We adopted it just so that I can have accountability, and I want public shaming on when I don't finish a whip. I do. And what's crazy is I've listed maybe be 10 or plus, 10 to 15 whips in there, okay? I haven't listed all my whips, though. I haven't
The truth comes out.
Yes. Skeletons. I was like, this is what I'm okay with showing. But really, if I had to sit down, like I probably have in the range of like 20 to 50. And that's like, yeah.
And I haven't posted at all on purpose.
See, so I would like to get shame so that I have to be accountable to sit
But
down.
is anybody shaming you?
No, they're actually like, you know, taking it like,
They're
they're like,
being
rah, rah,
supportive.
rah, support,
Yeah.
great comments. Yeah.
You know, I'm
and
going
it's
to
just
start to
like-
do it now. Every
Yeah.
Wednesday. I'm
Every
gonna be
Wednesday.
like, Amy,
Oh,
I
and
haven't
I'll
seen
public shame
anything.
myself. I will public shame myself. I was like, I almost said a bad word, but I was like, oh, I didn't get any sewing done. No, shame me.
It has to be
Publicly.
publicly.
Yeah.
Publicly.
Yeah, like
Public shaming.
Game of Thrones, shame.
So tell us about Sewtopia. How to get started. Give us the backstory, because we all love it, but how'd you get here?
So Sewtopia was, and it's still, not was, is still, it started out as an event business. Like we just did 2 events a year, and it's evolved to some crazy, I call it the carny show, because we're like, I envision that we're carnies and we're hauling our goods to the next location. In 2014, we started Sewtopia. I started Sewtopia as an events, and we do 2 events a year. The fall one's retreat style, meaning like it's a good city. You come for the weekend, you sew. We take care, in your registration ticket, you have your breakfast and your lunch taken care of. It's evolved to where we sprinkle make and takes. There's always a shop hop that kicks it off. Thursday we do a shop hop, and then we'll sprinkle like events. I imagine like if you're on a cruise ship and you're stuck out in the ocean, there's activities that you could choose to participate or not. Those are make and takes. We do have a fabric challenge that we send out to all the attendees. We give them 6 fabrics. Current sponsor is Wyndham. We'll send 6 fabrics, and then they choose to make something and then bring it to the show or the event, and then we do a show and tell of their items, and then that's the fall one. And then the spring one will have 2 teachers, 2 instructors, and they'll be in classes for the weekend. There's still a shop hop on Thursday. There's still the Wyndham challenge, and we have swaps. That is the spring and fall. And then in 2017, at the end of 2017, I lost my job. And then and my husband was like, and I was like, I have a bachelor's in business with an emphasis in accounting. Lost my job in 2017, and I was like talking to my husband. I was looking for accounting jobs, and he was like, just do Sewtopia full time. Mm-hmm. And so I've done Sewtopia, and then we opened our online part where we were offering fabric and notions and kits. And then in 2020,
That was 2018, the online shop opened, right?
yeah, the online shop opened in 2018. And Megan came on board in it was Atlanta. No, Atlanta was tryouts, right, Megan?
Supposedly, you call it tryouts.
I call it tryouts, but we don't do tryouts anymore.
She was auditioning me to see if I fit in with the crew.
Yes, because you know you got.
But who's left? Who's left from that crew?
She's left. She's left.
I'm the only one.
Yes. So Megan joined staff in Atlanta, which I can't remember what year. What's the year that Prince died? That's the year that Megan.
Well, that was a teaching event because I attended Sewtopia.
She attended the first Sewtopia. Technically, I met
third.
Megan at the first Sewtopia. 2016, baby. Prince died in April of 2016.
Yes. So
that is your monumental moment to remember.
Prince, I have this huge conspiracy theory. Okay. In 2016, we were in Atlanta. And half of the crew and half of the attendees got deathly ill. I don't know what kind of flu, what kind of sickness was in Atlanta that year, okay? And you can correlate this too because Prince did a concert in Atlanta. I thought
he just landed in Atlanta or something.
Got sick, just like the half the attendees and half the instructors, even the Ruby Star girls, half of them got sick. Okay, they got this wicked flu. Prince flew back to Minneapolis, took all those drugs and died. So Atlanta killed Prince. Almost killed us. But
So maybe a wicked flu escaped from the CDC. If you really want to like get this conspiracy theory going.
that is
But
my 100%.
we did have a few sick attendees. One of our instructors got sick after. It wasn't half.
We had instructors that were like out of it. I know one of the Ruby Star ladies was like, holy crap, I've never had this crazy illness before. So
it was probably like the actual like influenza. It wasn't like, oh, I just picked up a bug. It was like flu A or flu B. And
so Megan joined in 2016. We'll go back to the squirrel moment of where Prince died. Yes, so Megan joined 2016, and then she was staff. And yes, Megan, for some crazy reason, loved the Carney show. I don't know why. There's moments where I'm like, let's just turn this baby off. And she's just like, no, we will not turn this baby off. Like,
she's like, when I'm 50, I'm done. And I was like, 50 is the new 40. Okay. We're doing okay.
Okay. So we were doing events until, I can't remember what year New Orleans was. Like, and Denver was like, we can look at the dates and stuff. So at some point we're doing events, and then we did online shop or whatever. But there was a moment where Megan, and I attribute this to Megan, because our sponsor pulled, and at that point, and this was prior to the online shop, at that point I was like, okay, we either completely shut down Sewtopia, because if you don't have sewing machines at an event, and we can tout, or we can provide up to 75% of the attendees a sewing machine without an extra cost. You
That's
don't
amazing.
you don't have to pay extra to us. You don't have to. It's just included in your ticket. At that point, Megan, and I think this is the turning point for me, as how serious Megan was about Sewtopia, and how, like, this is like the moment where I was like, will you marry me?
No, it wasn't that at all. It was like, I was like, well, I'm your best friend. She goes, no, I don't have a best friend.
I don't.
Like, well, obviously I'm your best friend, because she has commitment issues.
I do. I
Trust
have
issues.
abandonment and commitment issues. Okay.
So
let's go back to the story. Let's not talk about me right now. When our sewing machine sponsor pulled, I was at this fork moment where I was like, okay, we had a good run. Let's just turn it off. Or we invest in sewing machines. That means buying 60 plus sewing machines. And Megan was like, hold on. And I would ask Megan why she loves Sewtopia so much, because she was attendee and then turned worker, then, you know what I mean, and now turned business partner. So it's kind of funny, but
I'm moving up.
I know. She's like, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
Like, don't give up on it yet. I reached out to Juki because I love Juki. Can we purchase sewing machines through you? Can we not be a dealer, but get dealer pricing? Because I have to purchase this many. And the current, or not the current, she's no longer with Juki, but she was like, let's work this out, because you've been reaching out to me yearly or occasionally. I'm being like, hey, can we do something? So we purchased, I drained my 401k. My husband wasn't too happy about it. Purchased 60 sewing machines. 60 to 70 sewing machines. And
which was 10 more than what we were previously providing. Like, before, we were only providing 50 through a local shop who was sponsoring.
No, not local.
I thought
shop.
It was 50. Well,
they might have done a 50, but it wasn't
a local shop would come and help set them up.
Yes, we had
Help.
yes, we had a program where the local dealer would come out and be like, hey, I'm your dealer, because
So they could maybe sell some.
right.
Makes
Right.
sense.
So they're like, hey, how can we, penetrate this market of modern young sewers? At the time when we started our event, that was they're young. We got a storage unit that's tempered controlled, that has all of like our events, QuiltCon, now QuiltCon, all of our events, all the sewing machines.
But prior to that, when she decided to open an online shop, she was never going to do it out of her house. Like that was never an option. So she rented office space and the machines lived there.
Yes, the machines would just come with me. But
from office to office.
Yeah, technically, Sewtopia has been in an office, shared office space with a lumber company, and then individual office, which is an office, and then when we were in that office, wasn't open to the public. It was just like, it would be like a medical office kind of like environment. You come in, there's like little office spaces. Anyways, and then that was also housing the sewing machines. And then when 2020 hit, it was funny because I came back from Modern Quilt Guild Austin, or QuiltCon Austin, and the pandemic hit and everything was shut down. I thought it was the perfect time to get a retail space. Perfect. And I kept on talking to Megan about it. I was like, Megan, retail space. And Megan's like, you don't know how much busier you're going to be in a retail space. And I was like, no way. We're never going to be that busy. Don't worry about it.
Who was right on that one?
Yes, it's a glorified warehouse. I always thought my office was a glorified warehouse space because we were doing online, online, right? And then once the pandemic hit, I was like, oh, like, I think it was March. I was like, I really want a retail space. I think this is the perfect time. Perfect.
It actually kind of was the perfect time.
You got a good deal, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I did. I got a good deal. And then we saw a retail space. And then it was funny. I saw a retail space and they're like, okay, if you rent here, you have to open up to the public. And I'm like, dude, it's the pandemic. I'm not opening up to anybody. And he's like, okay, we're going to give you 6 months running time. Meaning you don't have to open up for 6 months. So we signed our lease midsummer and then we moved in. We didn't open up until December of 2020. And then the next year was when vaccines came out, and then we're like, okay, well, everybody on the staff vaccinated, masked.
3 people in the store at a time.
Yeah, 3 people in the store at a time. It was crazy. And
that feels like it was like that era. It feels like it was yesterday and forever ago at the same time.
Yeah. It was a really
you know
interesting time to be a quilt shop, because I think Sewtopia has been really lucky in a way because we didn't really suffer during that time. A lot of small businesses suffered. A lot of people pivoted their business to make it work. Like, think of all the restaurants who were doing like takeout where you could just go pick up food.
Yeah.
And they pivoted to do that. And like, we had this really kind of serendipitous time where everyone's like, oh, well, let's pick up a new hobby. Oh, let's do quilting. Oh, we need to make masks. Sewing business didn't really suffer. It wasn't really until supply chain issues that it got a little bit more complicated, but there was still always fabric and there was still always a need for it.
So Sewtopia, in a nutshell, is an events, online, brick and mortar, modern sewing, bag making,
space, classes,
business,
concepts of classes,
business. That is
and you're in Salt Lake City.
You're in Salt Lake City, local. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll ask the accounting person, because I have a feeling you're going to know this off the top of your head. How e-commerce versus brick and mortar versus events, how does that shake out for you percentage-wise at Sewtopia, if you're willing to share?
Oh, yeah, totally willing to share. I think the e-commerce, if we did not have e-commerce, I don't think that we would survive as a retail. Mm-hmm. Our e-commerce has always been higher than our walk-ins, but our walk-ins aren't also getting, it's like a turtle and a hare situation. So I think the Turtle is starting to catch up. Like we're getting more walk-in business at the new location than we were getting at the old location. And our event side of our business, I think is, I always say we don't make a lot of money on our events, to be honest, even though it looks hella fun.
I like to think of events as community service. It's a service.
QuiltCon's a different beast because we're vending
outreach.
for 4 days. Yeah.
It's your
But
outreach. Yeah.
if it's, I think it's starting to community base. Like it's just like, hey, but we don't have a lot of new people.
Well, for events, but for QuiltCon, we do get
right.
people
Our
who
events,
find us.
it's funny because when I started events, I was like, okay, these are the things that I would like. These are the perks that I would like. Like that, the fall one's my baby. The spring one's also a good event. Like I'm not saying, but if I had a preference to go to the spring or the fall, I would always go to the fall one because I think my ADHD or whatever, my attention, like I just can't focus on the spring one. But like, because I can't just sit down and do a class. It's like if you went to QuiltCon and sat down, like you had all that crap going on throughout the weekend. Can you sit down and focus on a class? I can't. Like,
you'd have FOMO too bad that you're missing something
Her,
else.
it's her body is in the class, but her heart is on the vendor floor.
Yes, yes. The event side, I think we have a lot. It's funny because after the pandemic, we have probably 80.
It's actually closer to 92%
returning rate.
Really?
Yeah, we're gonna be real here for a second. It is impossible to get in. I have tried to get into nearly like every retreat for the last couple of years, and they're like sold out in like 60 seconds. It is crazy, and that's
good
awesome.
for you.
Super exciting for you guys.
If you attend the spring one, you get priority registration to the next spring one. And if you attend the fall one, you get priority registration to the next fall one. And this last event, the fall, which was bananas, and I'm always like, Megan, let's do 100 seats.
No.
And she's like, F no.
No.
Like, she's like, no.
But it's like any spot that we open up, any extra spot, once we do priority registration next year, it's probably going to fill again. So if we expanded to 88, there's no way we can go back down to 80. So it's like every time we go up a little bit more, but it's every time we increase the space, it's great because we can let more people in, but it's also harder because it takes away a little bit of like the just like this personable thing that we have going on, and it's a little bit more like tight knit. And it's not being exclusive. It's like, it's not saying we don't want new people. We do. In our last event, we actually had a ton of new people, which was exciting because we just had some unfortunate events where people couldn't come. And so we pulled a lot from the wait list. So we had a whole bunch of new people, and it was so fun because they were so wonderful. I've been to bigger events, and you just become a face in the crowd, and it's just hard to have that personal connection with each attendee. And so I'm very strongly like, no, can't go past this number because it just gets a little bit harder.
It's a testament to you guys as well as the business you've built that people want to return. You've got a quality product, both in your e-commerce store, in your brick and mortar store, and in the events you put on. And that's really what makes you special in the sewing space, in my opinion.
I was like, I think the last fall one, which is funny because the fall, it's not technically 20. I think it would be 21. This fall one, we're coming back to Salt Lake. We added 8 more seats. But if we didn't add the 8 more seats, we would have been sold out with priority registration.
Dang. Nicely done.
And people get pissed.
But we want to let other people in.
People get
we want new
mad.
people to come in.
Out of all of your events, is there one moment that stands out to you that's happened, whether it was a funny moment, a huge win, or something crazy challenging other than everybody getting sick, like stands out to you guys in all of the events that you've done, that like every time you think of your events, like this is like that moment that pops into your head?
There's so many bad moments.
Or in challenging, this is the thing, it's not bad, it's just we hit a lot of hiccups or speed bumps, and this is one thing where sometimes our husbands like help with stuff, but they don't come to the events and help us. sometimes they will be there, but there is a reason why we run this and not them, because it's like our husbands are just like, well, why isn't this planned out like this? Why isn't it like this? And it's like, you don't understand that stuff gets thrown at us. There's in the quilting industry in general, like my husband's like, why don't you make stuff way ahead of time? And it's like, babe, the fabric came in the week we're leaving. This is just how the quilting industry is. It's like your fabric comes in, your strike-offs are late, whatever, you're working all-nighters or late nights to get something done for, the following day. It's just how it is. And so it boggles their mind a little bit, because it's like if you just throw like a little change in the schedule their way, they're just like, blah! And it's like, that is like the theme of stuff that happens. Like, the machines aren't here. This package didn't come.
Well, and
everything.
here's, I'll give you a good example. Okay. So like, there was like, when we did Alexandria, like 3 years ago, I was like, Megan, I can't carny this show. I don't like driving in the U-Haul. I don't like loading up the U-Haul. I don't like doing this. And I'm like,
she hadn't faced the inevitable fact that we were going to have to drive everywhere yet.
Okay.
It's okay. We got there in the end.
So then I was like, let's ship everything. Okay. And there is a video on Insta that shows you 5 pallets in our parking lot. They're all wrapped. They're all ready to go. Snow the day before. Okay. Snow, because it's April, it's Utah, whatever. And then I was like, okay, they're going to freight to Alexandria.
Like express freight too.
Paid express. Okay. And it's things that you learn that you like don't know about until you have that hard lesson, right? Well, even though it's freighted and you paid express, it doesn't mean that it will get there on time.
Which is more thematic with shipping these days in general.
So we shipped it like a week early. Like, we're like, okay, that means we have to take that merch off the floor. We have to take, all of that stuff, because we're our own pop-up shop at the events. So then freight's over there.
Technically 2 weeks early.
Yes.
Almost. You're packing up. It ships.
I'm getting on the plane. I don't usually get on a plane, but I'm like, I'm on the plane. I'm not in a U-Haul. And then I get on the plane. FedEx calls me. I'm listening to a voicemail, says, hey, your pallets won't arrive until Friday. Our event starts on Thursday. Our pallets won't arrive until Friday. And I was like, huh. And
they were supposed to be there by Tuesday.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah, because you need to unload and set up. And
so then, I pull Megan and I'm like, hey, so FedEx just told me that our stuff isn't going to arrive until Friday. And I'm getting on a plane. Like, I'm going, it's Tuesday.
And I think I'm on a plane at that moment, because I had farther to go.
Yeah. So then we get to Alexandria, and I'm watching the freight. I'm watching it go from train station to train station to train station to port, whatever, to hub to hub to hub. And one of our good friends, Karen, who lives in Alexandria or lives in Virginia, was also watching it. And she said, and you can quote me if I'm wrong or whatever, or correct me. Manassas. Okay. Yeah. If it arrives and it's funny because we're always like, my ass. Manassas.
Let me tell you something about Amy. Amy has
Manassas.
A habit of mispronouncing stuff, and it's part of her charm.
It's my ESL.
It's not even that. So, then it gets in her head, and then it's just that's it. The pronunciation from here until the end of time.
If it arrives in Manassas, then we all got there Tuesday. Then we can hop in a U-Haul, drive to Manassas, pick up all of our shit.
We had a rental car too, I believe, was the other thing.
Pick up all of our shit, because 5 people can't fit in a U-Haul in the front cab. So
because this is when my sister was still traveling with us as well. So my Down syndrome sister, pretty severe, but she's also traveling with us.
Yes. So we still had to rent a mother truck in U-Haul. We still had to put everything in said U-Haul
and drive it.
I think
Manassas was a little over an hour away.
and then set up everything.
In record
We
time.
set up our shop. We set up the sewing lounge.
And this is on Wednesday. Normally we start set up on 8 a.m. that day. We didn't
On
even
Tuesday.
get back to the hotel.
We could set
No,
up
on
Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Yes.
We were still setting up on Wednesdays at this point. We would get in on Tuesday. So we didn't get our stuff until the afternoon. Like, I don't think we got back till around 4
Yeah.
on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we were up. I know we stayed up till
We stayed up until 1, and then we
1
had
in
to
the morning.
open registration table at 8 a.m.
So we were
bless
down
it.
there at 7.
None of our attendees know, like, they don't see the craziness that happens. But guess what? What did we learn from that? We will not be shipping our crap.
And
Anymore.
he has to admit that you were driving a U-Haul from now on. And you know, you guys share it in your stories, and I love following along your journey and where you're stopping and the crazy weather and it's such a breath of fresh air to see like the reality of what goes into this, and it's probably why so many people like invest in continuing, not just because of the experience, but because they see everything that you all put into it, and they love that.
And we remember the good stuff too, but we just,
Oh,
the
yeah.
speed bumps are very memorable in a way.
Well, the
that,
speed bumps are learning lessons, right? The pivot, you got to pivot you got to now do this now. I know.
Because we were shipped years, for years before that, we were shipping.
This is the current argument of me and Megan. Okay? Current argument. Current one. If I know what I know now, I would have invested in a damn truck. This is the
spend
current
a boatload
argument.
on U-Hauls at this point.
Yes, and I think U-Haul, if you're listening, or somebody that's in upper U-Haul that could be listening
Who's
right
a
now,
quilter and listens to the podcast?
start a VIP program, my friend. Just do a VIP program.
Loyalty.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes,
Just a punch
loyalty.
card.
I want the best truck. I want it full of gas when I come and pick it up. I want it clean.
Bluetooth.
Yes, Bluetooth. A VIP program would be great. But knowing what I know now, I should have invested in a truck. Now, the current argument is, well, we can't get a truck because where are we going to put said truck? Who's going to maintain said truck? The insurance on a said truck, right?
These are my arguments.
Yes. The other thing, I was like, well, let's do, because when me and Megan are on the road, we commonly get, I don't know why, but we commonly get people just think that we're lesbians because we're in a U-Haul truck. Okay. So
No.
we have deemed it that we are seasonal lesbians.
Seasonal lesbians.
Okay.
Platonic seasonal lesbians.
And we have things that we do together, like she'll just order my food for me and then I'll pay, and then people will be like, oh, I want that sugar mama situation. Let's get a F-150 and a trailer. And then her argument is like, can you back up said trailer? Can you do those things? And then I said, if you don't give me the opportunity to practice, how am I going to do it?
This is a true relationship.
It.
Oh my gosh.
We just don't have physical representation, but yes, we don't have it on a piece of paper that we're married. But she's dad, I'm mom. That's what the kids are the
Kids employees.
the employees. That's what they call us, mom and dad.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so it's I'm like no.
So knowing what I know today, I would have invested in a mother trucking truck.
Trucking truck.
I would still say no to it.
It's a good piece of advice for anyone.
Megan, knowing what you know today, what would you do?
Run? No, I'm just
Knowing what you know today, what would you do?
I wouldn't
There's a
change very much.
legitimate, just so everybody knows, there's a legitimate, Megan and my husband have kill switch options. At any time, they can push that button and say, we're done. We're done.
She
And
said
then I
if
would be
one
done.
of us says, "Hey, I'm done," then we're done.
They would have to put the key together, turn the knob, push that button.
But
done.
joke's on her, because I'm like, yeah, let's keep going. She's like, at 50, I'm done. I was like, 50's the new 40. We're still going.
And she has the key.
I'm like, she's like, I want to retire at 50. I'm like, you will drive everybody crazy if you're just at home.
I love it. I can't wait. The grass is greener on the other side. Let's go.
No.
You know how many
it's a myth.
Do you know how many quilts I would be making? Do you know how many jackets I would be wearing?
I would be calling you up on the phone, and you would be in your bed, and you'd be like, "Yeah, I'm watching anime with Brad."
Oh, I'm
I should be
watching Secret Mormon lives of their wives and all that crap.
Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah.
Okay,
We're going to
that's what
pivot real quick to
Okay.
thread talk, because one of the things we would love to know is there an industry trend as a shop owner that you feel like is happening now or should go away or make a comeback?
Or
Is there
all
an
of the
industry-
above.
But here's the thing. We've been in this industry so long. We're a little jaded, a little cynical, a little snarky, a little sassy.
That's why we love you.
I know. When we see things come in and out, I'm like, oh, that's coming back again? Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that you're like, I hope that doesn't come back. It's kind of like fashion trends. Some things we just don't need to return.
I'm always open to things in the sense of like, if there's a new trend coming, I was like, okay, well, let's look at this. Like, I would say the one thing that we're a little bit argumentative on right now is when we're bringing new products into the shop. And when I say argue, it's not like we're like, I hate you more. It's like we're just having a discussion. It's not that uncomfortable. Maybe for the kids, where they're like,
It's
they're fighting
uncomfortable
again.
for other people to witness. Because they're...
But it's
Mom and,
just a discussion.
Mom and Dad are fighting again.
Oh, yeah.
It's a discussion.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you. But when we're bringing a new product to the shop, sometimes we're kind of like, all right, do we want to bring this in? Because sometimes it's like when we're bringing it in, we need to like trust the product. We need to think that the product is good, that it's worth the money. And so sometimes we have a little bit of like, this is trending right now, but maybe we think it's overpriced, or you know, this is kind of
there's
cheap.
a number of things that are coming into play right now in the quilting world that I just effing hate. Just hate it.
Spill it.
I know.
Like
we can
what?
talk about it. We have printed fabric.
Digital printed fabric
I
specifically.
effing hate it.
And what we're finding is that there's a big wide swing on like really good digitally printed fabric and really crappy digital fabric, and finding out that the base cloth is really important. That if the base cloth is from one particular area, it's probably not going to be very good. And so we start with asking those questions. Where's your base cloth from for this digitally
We could
printed
do a
fabric?
whole podcast on just digitally printed.
Like we actually
What
talked
has it
about doing a
affected?
panel.
And how is it affected, or how will it affect our, like...
And it's expensive.
Where's my
But
cost savings?
but they tell us it's more cost effective. But where are we seeing that
Where
as a
are we
consumer?
saving?
No.
No.
Yeah.
And the problem with that too is we don't actually know the wear and tear of this fabric over a long term because it's still relatively new.
Going back to the question, I don't see any that I hate, or I'm like, why is this coming back?
You know, one thing I actually don't like,
What?
big stitch quilt binding. Don't love it.
I don't like it either. I don't like it either.
Don't like it. I see big stitches that can just catch on stuff and rip a whole binding off. Like we're using these quilts. Like it needs to be usable. It needs to be functional. It needs to be sturdy. That's just me.
That's
Some
a
people
hot
do a
take.
beautiful job
That's a
on it.
hot take.
That's a hot take.
It's a hot
Yeah.
take there.
Hot take.
I mean, and I feel the same way about machine binding. It's very functional. I just can't do it. I can't do it to a level that I find acceptable.
That's it. I'm very particular about how, especially top stitching or anything that is super, super visible, that's going to turn out. And I have yet to perfect machine binding, so I will be continuing to do it by hand
Yeah.
because if I just, it's got to look a certain way.
Yeah, some people do it beautifully, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yay
Yes.
for that. I can't.
No.
Here's another hot take. Here's another hot take.
Hot take.
We have a new, this is going to be a whole new section.
You should,
of
a
you
whole-
should
I was
call
about to
it
say.
hot takes.
Hot take.
hot takes.
And it's
Hot
always
take.
going to be with you two.
No, everybody.
Hot take of the
I
week.
can-
We'll tell you.
I'll
We
have
can
a hot
come
take.
up with material.
I have a hot take right now.
Do it.
Okay.
When is this airing?
June 17th.
June.
Okay, June 17th. It's a while. Okay, hot take. The new Quilters documentary on Netflix
Yeah.
have men quilting. Now, it's going to be like, one, those men are going to be like, women are going to be writing in for those men. They're just going to be like, let me be your one and only outside of the prison walls. But hot take is,
I know quilters are so alluring.
I know,
Okay.
well, and I think it's going to elevate quilting a little bit. Quilting comes in and out. Why is it when a man quilts, and sorry men who are listening / watching, But we are trying so hard with this with this craft. And a man comes in and they're all of a sudden elevated.
There's something to be said for that, because I haven't watched it. Have you watched it yet?
I did.
So
And I will also say, those guys who are quilting, their points are amazing.
I think
And I'm
that's what
like,
I
if
was
I could
like
zoom
surprised
in,
about.
you're-
Yeah, I was really surprised by like how serious they take the craft and the art to be like hone in their craft and learn. And that was the part that I was like, I would totally take a lesson from these guys. Like, teach me your ways. Like they really have
Precision
perfected.
piecing.
Yeah, they do. They do. And they do very, I would say, advanced quilt making, like with their designs, and they make their own designs and they're making their own grids, and like
with not very good supplies.
All of it's donated, and and all of
The
that.
way they use a rotary cutter, oh my God.
Yeah,
Dying.
it was actually, for me, I was really impressed with the quilting and the quality of the quilting and the talents that they were building. Granted, they were doing it from 7:30 to 3:30 Monday through Friday.
But if you could sit in a room by yourself.
And they were, but one of the things I took from it was how supportive they were of each other and helping each other out. And not to spoil anything, but one of the gentlemen was not allowed to come back into the space because he broke a rule. But he was really close to finishing this quilt, and the way that they rallied around and finished it for him so that it could be donated. And I think that was the message that I thought was really special, is how these guys have found purpose and through quilting, and how it can give back to the foster children in their community. That to me was like what I took out of it the most, I would say.
Yes, I think quilting will come in and out. Like I always think.
But I will say there's quilting programs in women's prisons too, and they don't.
And maybe that'll be the next episode that they'll feature. Maybe it took featuring them first to get the platform to be able to continue the conversation moving forward. Maybe they will. I hope they will.
I think this feels like a great segue into our You Love to See It for the week to wrap up the episode.
Oh, they're trying to. We talk way too much, Megan.
I know. We did another podcast one time, and they ended up having to do it in 2 parts because we talked.
I think that might be what we have to do.
I would love to have you guys back on after maybe like the fall retreat event, because then we can get like real time right after. I think that would be really fun.
This event coming up will be unique because it'll be the first time that we're a pop-up shop, but where we're located. So we're trying to figure out, okay, how are we actually going to do that? Like, are we going to, because normally we like strip the store down, take it with us. So now we're going to have to do some sort of hybrid event.
So my You Love to See It, and this is a silly one, but it is hot pink nail season. It is summer. I only wear bright color nails in the summer, and I did them for the first time the other day, and I keep looking at them. I don't know. I usually wear neutrals. So I feel like a different person. I feel like pretty with my hot pink nails. And I just have to say that it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
My You Love to See It is when we have guests on that it's just it flows so naturally, and people that I have such great respect for, and it's a great way to spend some time.
Yeah, for sure. Megan, what's your You Love to See It?
It's the last week of school for my kids this week,
That's a
so I
good
don't have to
one.
give them rides for a little bit, but then they're going to be at home rotting all summer. So, but they need a break too. I get it. But as I call it, it's the snackening. The snackening is coming up. So I'm
the snackening is real. It is so real.
Yeah. So that's, but it's also my birthday this week. So,
Hey,
I'm turning
happy
46.
birthday.
Thank you. 46 on Sunday. So Gemini
That's amazing.
season.
Oh God.
Love to see it.
Amy, what's your You Love to See
You
It?
get the last word.
I don't know. I have this new saying when people are like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Living the dream on a nightmare salary."
Yeah, that's her.
So that's my.
That's every small business.
Yeah, that's like my new thing lately. It was like, they're like, "How you doing?" And I'm like, I sit there and I ponder. I'm like, "How am I doing?"
You're too busy to stop and think.
Yeah, and I have to,
but think about where you
But
were
then I'm
and
like,
where you're
oh.
coming.
My new answer is like, live another dream on a nightmare salad.
But let's spin this positively. So one thing when Amy was talking about going to brick and mortar and all this stuff, I remember, so after she lost her job, she was starting, the online store. She was like, I don't know, maybe I should go get a part-time job. Like there was this moment of doubt for her because it's like she's not providing her own insurance. She doesn't have someone paying her. It's this unknown. And I was like, if you are paying your bills every month and not using your personal money to pay any of Sewtopia's bills, then already you're running a successful business. And she has done that since she opened up the online store for sure. So it's like, even though the online
That's too
heartfelt.
We're ending on a positive.
You gotta look at the bright side.
It's been successful.
What I'm loving to see right now is that we released our new labels. They're really effing snarky. Okay, I don't know.
Ooh, new labels.
Yes, they're new. They're new labels. They're like, I think I don't even have my.
I don't know if I have any. I don't know where they are.
I know. Okay, so our labels are snarky. Okay, they're black labels. There's it's fine. Everything's fine. But that
was inspired by our friend Rhiannon.
Yes, the blocks are jacked up. Like they're a little mess.
One thing's pivoted.
Yes, like because you sewed it wrong, right? There's a label that's like, well, shit.
Well, shit.
Yep. Well, shit. Yeah. And the half square, the pinwheel's sewn incorrectly. Made fast and okayish. Okayish is like, I like to add ish. And like, what time are you going to be there? Oh, 7-ish. Because it just doesn't like.
I love okayish.
Yeah.
That was the start of our
and okayish because we really operate well on our deadlines.
Good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
Good enough.
It's bespoke, damn it.
That's an inside joke.
That is an inside joke because people are always like, oh, look at my bespoke bundle. Look at my bespoke.
Bespoke is the buzzword for everything right now. And so Amy started using the buzzword. And she'd be like, it's this bespoke hand done, blah, blah,
I know,
blah.
look at my bespoke mug.
Look at my bespoke, and I was like, Amy, that's not what that means. And she's like,
I don't care.
And so then we did, it's bespoke, damn it.
That's the company.
So what I'm loving is that the labels are hitting hard for our shop right now. It took a minute for me to get it on the website because I had to take glamour shots and then I had to like do the description and then I had to get it on the website. But they are hitting hard, which I think, and we are reaching out to distributors to see if they want to carry them so that other shops can. We created those labels for QuiltCon's swag bag and then we offer them in our booth and now we're offering them in online. Yes, it's May.
I need them in sticker form too.
Yes.
We get to it. Sometimes it's like slow and it gets there eventually ish. It's fine. Ish. And I would say that's probably something in the future for Sewtopia. Like, what are we seeing for the future? It's kind of like we're still going with the online shop. We're still going brick and mortar. We're still doing events. But I would say something that we're thinking about in the future is wholesale of like kind of a Sewtopia line of stuff. At some point.
Just so everybody knows, we're going to put links in the description where you can go shop Sewtopia. That's a hard thing to say in one sentence.
I hear Sewtopia. Yeah.
And then also how to follow them online, how to learn more about their events, and check out these new labels. I'm excited to see.
We are trying to get on the Amazing Race. So
yes. Are you really?
I need to fill out the application. I think we have good enough videos from our, like, if anybody wants to see our highlight videos of our travel, we usually start them at when we, I think it would be hilarious because I think me and Megan would argue the crap, but we're also super competitive.
I know, but she's already told me the different stuff that we have to do. Like, I have to do all the eating challenges, apparently. And if anything has to do with swimming, I also have to do that.
I can't swim. I'm afraid of water. But I can do the height stuff.
Yeah, I don't love heights all the time.
You can't kind of do the eating challenges either. Because if we're in Switzerland and we have to eat a whole fondue pot of cheese.
I'm super lactose intolerant. It'd be
all right, well, we'll start the petition. for this because I want to see it as much as I think everybody else will. But this has been super fun. I'm so grateful for you guys coming to hang out with us, and we will definitely have you back on because my face has never hurt so much from laughing in an episode. I feel like we could talk for hours. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to go let us know your hot take over in the Social Sewers Facebook group. We'd love to hear it. I'm sure Amy and Megan will chime in with some more if they think of
it.
But
I can't remember mine now.
She will as soon as we
Perimenopause
hit.
is a bitch, man.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Happy sewing. Thanks, guys.
Happy sewing.
Bye.